I thought I was moving into my dream home, a quiet street, friendly neighbors, and peace after years of hard work. But behind the trimmed hedges and smiling faces was something darker. A woman who thought the rules didn't apply to her, and that people like me didn't belong. What she didn't expect, I came prepared with cameras, the law, and the truth. This is the story of how I exposed it all. My name is Malcolm Price. I'm 42 years old, a real estate appraiser by trade. And after years of hustle and sacrifice, I finally bought my dream home, a modern colonial on a tree-lined street in Willow Glen Reserve, one of North Carolina's most prestigious gated communities. On paper, it was everything I had worked for. What I didn't realize was that behind the iron gates and manicured lawns stood Meredith Crane. Meredith was the president of the HOA. She carried herself like she had built the neighborhood with her bare hands, late 50s, perfectly coiffed hair, and an obsession with aesthetic standards that bordered on pathological. At our first community event, she greeted me not with warmth, but with a long stare, followed by a loud comment to the crowd. "Looks like we've added to our diversity quota." Then came the arm squeeze. I smiled politely, but inside, something twisted. Still, I let it go. I had faced worse. I was used to moving through rooms where I didn't quite fit. But then the strange things started happening. 3 appraisal payments, checks from longtime clients, never arrived. I called the post office. Then the clients. They had mailed them, confirmed dates, even sent screenshots. I was confused. Then one afternoon, as I came home early, I spotted Meredith near my mailbox, pretending to walk her dog. But her dog wasn't walking. It was sitting in her purse. I installed a motion-activated camera by the box, just to be safe. 2 days later, I had the footage. Meredith, glancing around, slipping open my mailbox, and removing a letter, then sliding it into her designer handbag like she was shopping for handbags, not committing a federal crime. That night, I drove to the local postmaster's office and filed a mail theft report. Mail theft isn't just petty theft. It's a federal offense. The next day, Meredith showed up at my door. She wasn't rattled. She was smiling. "I need to speak with you about late HOA dues," she said, waving a clipboard like a badge. I invited her in, polite, calm, and baited her. "Oh, right," I said. "I've been meaning to mail the check." I placed a folded envelope marked HOA payment on the counter. Then I stepped into the kitchen. Cameras recorded everything. She slid the envelope into her bag without hesitation. 2 days later, Officer Lila Hart, an officer who had dealt with HOA abuse cases before, met me at my home. Together, we planted a traceable decoy check in the mailbox. The bait was flawless. That evening, Meredith's Lexus SUV rolled up. Plainclothes officers watched as she took the bait. When stopped, she denied everything, until they found 3 more envelopes in her purse, all addressed to me. That should have been the end. It wasn't. 6 hours after being released under a no-contact order, Meredith returned. I was watering my plants when her SUV screeched to a stop in front of my house. She stormed out, red-faced, screaming that I was ruining the neighborhood, that I was stealing resources meant for people who built this community. Then came the racial slurs, loud, venomous. She didn't know I was live streaming everything to cloud storage and, thanks to a follower who picked it up instantly, also to social media. Then she made her final mistake. She called 911. "He's harassing me," she shrieked. "He's threatening me." But Officer Hart was already nearby. She arrived in minutes, with backup. Meredith tried to cry, to flip the script, but the officers had seen the footage, heard the audio. They arrested her on the spot for harassment, violating a no-contact order, and filing a false police report. In court, the chaos went nuclear. Her husband, Ronald Crane, a local district judge, called my attorney and offered $30,000 in cash to end the drama. I refused. We submitted the audio of the bribe to the district attorney's office. That's when the story hit the media. The audio of Meredith saying, "He's a large black man who claims to live here," played on the local news. By morning, it had gone national. At trial, Meredith looked deflated, smaller. Her posture shrank as the evidence piled up: video footage, 911 audio, the mail theft, the live stream. When asked if she had anything to say, she looked at me, not with regret, but with cold hatred, and said, "This used to be a quiet neighborhood." She pled guilty. Mail theft, harassment, obstruction of justice. The sentence: 5 years probation, $60, $1,000 in fines, and by request of the DA's office, a mandatory public apology at the next HOA meeting. And that night, the community showed up in numbers. The community center buzzed with quiet fury. People I hadn't really spoken to before: Mr. Nguyen, a war veteran; Mrs. Ali, a retired school principal, shared their own stories. Meredith had blocked their renovations, fined them for petty violations, and approved the same things for white neighbors. The fade had cracked. The myth of the protector of standards was shattered. Then came the moment. Meredith stepped up to the podium and read her court-ordered apology. Her voice was flat, each word dripping with resentment. But the words didn't matter. The people did. They were done being silent. 2 weeks later, the Cranes put their house on the market. It sat unsold for months, no offers. Eventually, a young couple bought it, both artists. The neighborhood threw them a welcome brunch. The new HOA board called for an audit. They uncovered nearly $40. Administrative fees, misappropriated under Meredith's tenure. The funds were refunded. New bylaws were enacted. Transparency became the new rule. As for me, I still walk past the Crane's old house. The garden's been replanted. The porch swing is back. The anger faded. But the lesson didn't. Respect isn't something you can demand with fines or threats. It isn't about clipboards or control. It's earned, day by day, truth by truth. Meredith tried to protect a community by excluding people. I protected it by standing in the open, camera rolling, facts in hand, and never raising my voice. I didn't come to Willow Glen to make a point. I just came to live. But when someone tries to write you out of your own story, the only way to win is to make sure it's recorded.